Hey Nadine, we'll be starting in just a couple of minutes. Hey everyone, I'm just quickly setting a couple of bits up. Good to see you in here, Mark, Nadine. Hi Alistair, no worries, if you have to head off, we are actually recording the whole thing as well. Hey guys, as predicted, nothing ever goes perfectly to plan when you're dealing with technology. So I will just I've just got to sort a couple of bits to do with the stream and the audio. If you can let me know in the comments how the audio is for all of you. Audio is good, all working there. Sound is clear, perfect. This end I had a little bit of a muffle. I want to make sure that while I'm doing it, it's good quality for all of you. So let's... Okay, so this is actually scheduled in to be for around about 2 hours, but what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to whistle-stop tour through a whole variety of different bits. We actually do a monthly free training around content creation, and I want to make sure that you guys get the maximum value out of the time here. I know some people have got to head off early, so if you have, don't worry about that. We are recording the session, but obviously if you're here, you get a chance to ask questions as we go through this. Now, this is born out of the fact that I basically, now we've got an echo. Has that just come in? Basically, now we've got an echo. Has that just come in? Basically, now we've got an echo. Has that just come in? Just bear with me while I sort that out. Just bear with me while I sort that out. Just bear with me while I sort that out. Just bear with me while I sort that out. Okay, let me know how we're doing now and if there's an audio for you still. Are we all back up and running? Okay, apologies for that. It decided that it was going to kick in the system audio even though it was supposed to be disabled. Okay, cool. So we run some monthly workshops all around content creation, and we normally deliver this over the space of about 6 hours. But I'm going to run you through some of the most important bits because for me, in the last couple of weeks, I've actually created about 215 pieces of content in just 2 hours, and I want to show you guys that it really isn't as difficult as a lot of people seem to think it is, and I want to show you exactly how you can do it. Throughout this session, I'm going to introduce you to a whole load of different tools. They're either free or low cost, so they're kind of an entry point so anyone can use them. Some will be for creating, some of them will be for storing, some of them will be for sharing. So even if you've got tools in place for all of those things, just bear with me and I'll talk you through the tools that we use. And if you've got any questions as we go along, then please do ask. I will be, if you didn't come in through the web page, so if I just flick over there, if you didn't come in through the web page over on It's Nomad 9, this is where we will be putting all of the resources. So down here at the bottom, I'll be adding in all of the resources down here, which will be links to all of the content that we're talking about. So every platform, every tool, everything like that will go up here after the broadcast. We have got some special deals that we've negotiated with certain partners that we've got, so every link that goes here will get you the best deal that we could negotiate for you, and it will link you straight to it, so you don't have to work it out and try and find a deal for yourself or an offer or anything. We've already negotiated all that for you. So first and most importantly, we're living in a space where content creation is really fundamental to business. Irrespective of what industry you're in, it's really, really important that you're focused in on creating good quality content, the type of content that people actually want to consume. A lot of people are caught up in they fall over themselves in the idea of creating content because they're not sure where to start. They don't know what they should be creating, what makes good content. And ultimately, think about it from a consumer point of view. When you go to look for things, you want the best answer, you want the quickest answer, you want to actually get a result that helps and serves you. So think about that when you're delivering it as a business. You need to do the same thing. So one of the big tips for you is answer people's questions. If you've ever had people asking you questions specifically in your business, then answer those questions. Make that the content that you create for that. So it's really important that you actually answer questions. So many people don't. They avoid it. They don't want to talk about prices. One of the things that frustrates me more than anything is I see a brilliant piece of software I've been recommended to, and actually when I go to look on the website, there's no details. I can't find out the price, and that's frustrating. Now, even as an agency, we have pricing that changes depending on what you do, but you can give an idea, give ballparks, give people an idea whether or not after a 30-day trial, is it going to be too expensive for them? In which case it would be a waste of their time to take a 30-day trial. So make sure you think about these things when you're putting your website together, when you're putting your content out. Think about the value proposition from the other side. Always think about the other person. A good friend of ours, Brian Fanzo, uses the phrase think like a fan. So the people who are your fans, who are consuming your content, what do they want to see? What do they want to hear from you? You don't want to be selling them. Ultimately, what I'm teaching you is nothing about sales, but at the same time, it's absolutely everything about sales. When you build that relationship to such a high level because you're providing valuable content, at that point, then the sales just happen. So I'm going to run you through how you're going to create the content, but I just need to give a little bit of context to that as well. I'm going to give you a quick flash up on the screen of the process that we use, and then I'm going to show you another process today. Today's is a slightly different process to the one that we use ourselves. I have used it, but it's not the day-to-day process that we're always using. It's one that actually gives you a few quick shortcuts. Now, some of the bits will have, like I said, you'll have to access tools in order to be able to do some of the stuff that I'm going to teach you. So I wanted to show you very quickly, if I jump over here to the website, so let's just bring that up onto the screen now. So we're just a standard WordPress website that we're running on here, and I've just published this for the purposes of this broadcast. So you can see here I've literally only just published it. You can see 1 minute to 4 on the 6th over here on the right hand side. If you're not used to WordPress, I've only just published this blog. Now what that looks like on the front end, if we just quickly load that up. So here it is. This is, if you've been listening to my videos on YouTube, you'll already be familiar with this topic and this daily tea. It's my daily videos that I'm putting out. Now this was my 1st of January piece of content. This is essentially a full written piece of content around created from a piece of video. So I've started with a video. 1 second. I've started with a video, and then I have taken the words from inside the video and used them in my content. So to give you a bit of context here, just talk louder. Sorry, just checking the audio levels and being waved at from the other side of the table. So sorry if the audio was a little bit low there. I'm going to just raise my volume rather than raising the volume on the microphone. So this content has been created, give you an idea, a blog of this sort of length. This is about an 8-minute video, so you get a good idea of how much content you can get out in just 8 minutes of recording video. I know there's a couple of people in here who are already using this strategy, a couple of people who are interested in using the strategy, and it really does deliver. So I talk at about 150 words a minute to 200 words a minute. Most people are about 100 to 120 words a minute. So in order to, 1 second, we seem to be having some audio issues. How are we doing now for the audios? Are we back on? Can I have a check from the people watching just in chat as well? Let me know how the audio is for you. All good. Okay, cool. We'll get back to it. So you get about 100 to 120 words a minute from your video. That's about the speed that most people talk. Now, I want to give you context that most people type at about 45 words a minute, then you can really see that's a massive productivity level up. So in order, if you want to go to the SEO side of things and you've got 300 word minimum blogs, that's like a 3-minute video. Now I'm giving you real context of the speed at which you can get content out. So if you do a 3-minute video and you pull the words from it and you put it into blog, that will become a 300-word blog. Tidy it up a little bit, SEO it in the same way you'll have seen when I went through this. There's some bits that are highlighted, there's some headlines, there's some quotes, there's some bullet pointed stuff. It is literally just a case of formatting it and relaying it out into a format that makes it more cohesive. If you know that you're recording video content for blogging, you start to speak slightly differently, and you start to change the way that you lay things out and talk about things. I mean, we're trying to hit adult learning outcomes, so it's here's what you're going to learn, here's what you're learning, and then here's what we've learned. So you give that because it ticks the box for SEO as well as the adult learning outcomes, and keeping people on track and making sure that they've understood. So I don't know, just quickly in the chat, let me know if you are currently doing any video, is the first question, and if you are, how often do you do video? So let me know in the chat, but I'm going to carry on while you guys answer that question. So this is just an example of how quick and easy it can be. 8-minute video. I've used the same thumbnail here as the featured image on the blog as I have as the thumbnail over on YouTube. So if I was to go to YouTube over here and go back one, it's now not going to let me go back, is it? Bear with me while I quickly go over to YouTube Studio, and I'm going to show you on here, because it's really important that you guys see this, the actual thumbnailing of the videos. So here's the video here, and you can see we're using the same thumbnail here as we are over on the blog. So really, really important. We're minimizing the amount of work that we're doing in order to get that. Now, if you look at the top set of videos that I've been publishing, you're going to see here they've all got a similar style, and I'm going to show you exactly how we do that now. So we use a product called Relay That, super fast. Some of you will have heard of this if you've listened to me talking before, but it's really, really quick and easy to replicate and create graphics really, really fast. So if I show you very, very quickly here, if I go into my saved designs in the top corner, and then I'm going to go over here to my folder, and then over here you can see even the graphic you've seen today here is, if I click into this, you can see this is the graphic that I used for today's video, which obviously if it was a blog would also become the blog header. Now there's loads you can do with this. You can change up the texts, you can change the different designs, and you can see down the left hand side you can also change all the dimensions. So if I needed to create a skyscraper for the side of a website in order to advertise this event, or if I wanted to do a square one, for example, let's go socials. So here a square post 1200 by 1200, perfect for posting across a whole range of different platforms. It's basically going to make it really easy for you to create loads of them very quickly. Vertical stories, so think about Facebook stories, Instagram stories, use it in Snapchat. You know, you've got this whole range of them. You create a TikTok related bits and pieces of content. So there's loads of ways you can do this and replicate this piece of content into multiple different formats. Because I'm conscious that I want to get through as much as possible, because I know quite a few people are tight on time today, I'm going to not run through exactly changing this one up and creating all the different pieces, but this is going to be a whole piece I'm going to do as a separate broadcast anyway on Relay That, because there's so much in this, it has to be a broadcast on its own. You've got stuff for social, you've got stuff for your ads, you can go to print if you're doing any print stuff. So there's so many features and functionality to this. I just wanted to show you how quick it is, really, more than anything. If I go back to the where are we? If I go back to the saved designs, so just jump back in here, literally the one I've just shown you as a blog, New Year's resolutions and planning, is over here. If I just click this and then literally duplicate it in order to do my next blog, it will create a new one at the top here, and I'll be able to double click here and it will take me straight in. And all I need to do, because this is a new version, I can literally just go in and say a new title for my blog, or title. And then you can change it. So if you need line breaks because you want to make it a bit neater, you might want to change it a little bit like that. The other thing you can do is select it on here and just rearrange it. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to show you this first is you need to be putting thumbnails on things, you need to be creating graphics for different socials, and this just allows you to do them super, super quickly. Because this is a template in my name, you can see ImTristanG at the top. It's got my selected fonts, so I've got 2 or 3 different fonts selected here. That means when I use different bits of the designs, it automatically fills it in. It's got my brand colors on it, and I've got like the logos and signatures and stuff like that as well. So really, really quick and easy to do. I'm not going to go more into that because it's obviously something that we specifically need to have a look at as a whole piece. So I'm going to just jump back off of here while I get to the next thing that I want to show you. This is a really, really killer tip. So when you've written a blog, one of the big things you can do is take lines from your blog and start using them as tweets, as social media updates, as posts, as text over graphics, things like that. Really important that you understand that you've already created the content. Everybody's always fighting for creating more content and thinking about what do I do next, when actually they're not using the stuff that they've already created. So think about how you can repurpose the content that you are already creating to make it super efficient. So one of the things I was going to show, give me 1 second, I'm going to just check if it's come through. Whilst this is quickly loading up, I'm going to go into the workshop flow that we use for our monthly workshops. I'm going to skip quite a few bits here, and I just wanted to bring it in on this bit because this one is really important. This is pretty much the flow that we use when we're creating content at scale. So if you want to create a massive amount of content, if you literally have a look at this, and if you actually want to get a copy of this rather than a screenshot because it'll be poor quality, if you go over to our Facebook page, you'll be able to go straight over there. You don't have to do it now during the broadcast, but if you go afterwards, you'll be able to go and get an exact download of this. So it'll be if I drop a link for you there in chat so that you can go and get it, go over to this link here, and then once you've done that, what you want to do is type this. So in order to get a copy of what you can currently see, where are we? Oh, sorry, I haven't jumped you onto the screen. Give me 1 minute. I didn't jump you back. Let's jump you back in there. Sorry. This is the flow that we currently use. So if you take a real close look at it, there's no point screenshotting because it will be poor quality. If you actually go to the you'll get a high resolution printable copy if you go over to our messenger and just type in the bit that I've put in chat there. So basically we start with a video, we then get it, we then transcribe it. We have a team that do all of that, and then from that we create blogs and we create the subtitles for the videos. So all the videos always have subtitles. From the blog we pull the quotes, that's what I've just been talking about, and then with the subtitles you can create what we refer to as epic videos, so the Gary V style videos. Now I'm going to quickly change on to make sure that I'm on the full desktop, because I'm actually going to quickly jump into my edits over here because I want to show you exactly what I mean here, and the audio is turned off so you won't get blasted in the ears as we do this. So we've been working with a guy called Alex Shrimpton who does a video series called Waterloo Wise Words, and he was doing standard video until we took over and we started adding in additional features. So the words that appear on the screen in this video are they're the content, they're the written words from they're the subtitles you would have for a normal video, but we've obviously turned them into graphics as well. Are we back on with audio? Not sure why so apparently we are getting that audio through. So apologies for that. So the text that's on the bottom here is the subtitles. So when you've transcribed it and created subtitles, you can put them into you can make much more visually appealing content like videos like this. If you've seen Gary V's content, you'll be familiar with this. That Tim saying about mainly create videos for clients but looking to create your own content too. So for you, because you're about creative business videos, one of the things you would do is answer all the questions that you get asked. So start creating that and then turning those into blogs, and it will start to position you from an SEO point of view as the top in your industry. Try to do 2 or 3 on LinkedIn and 1 live on YouTube. So yeah, absolutely. So look at all the different platforms that you can use as well. Really important that you do hit all the platforms. If you look on the flow chart that we've got at the bottom of that, it'll be small on your screen now, that's why I say download it, is you can see all the different platforms that we're using. Now I'm going to quickly jump back onto video because I need to quickly grab something out of my I've got to get to my messages quickly and get, because this really cool tool. Let's go and see whether it's actually created it yet. If not, I'll bring you up a version of one that we've already used. Basically, we've got a tool that I'd actually forgotten that we had access to, that's actually given us an amazing opportunity to create a whole wealth of graphics. And I'm going to show you some of the graphics, and then I'm going to show you the graphics that we created. And I said about creating 215 pieces of content really quickly. You'll see what I mean when I show you this. So you can see here, these are quotes that have literally been taken from our so what we've done is created the video, we've then created the blog on the website, and then we're using a tool that actually is extracting extracting out content. Now, don't overthink reusing a piece of content, because a lot of people worry about using a piece of content more than once. Now, if I make it really real for you, if you've got 100 people following you online and you post, the reality is 5 or 10 people are probably going to see it, and that's if they're online within that time frame of when it's relevant. So if you post it again, another 5 or 10% of those people might see it at the later point. So replicating the content isn't an issue. The way you can do it without it being exactly the same is to create similar pieces of content, and you'll see what I mean here as I pop this up. So if I just quickly pop through these quotes and things that come straight out of a blog that I've done previously, you'll see that this one with a red background is exactly the same content as this one that's on a white background. But of course, when I post it, firstly, it's not exactly the same, so you wouldn't spot them side by side and think they're exactly the same, even though the content is the same. So have a think about how you can use different designs and within your own color scheme so that you can create 2 or 3 pieces of content. Now, a killer tip for you is a lot of people put their content out and then forget about it, and that's the worst mistake you can make, because if you take your piece of content and you put it out today and 10% of the people see it, you're doing a disservice to the 90% of people who, because of algorithms, didn't get to see it. So if you think from a point of view of the algorithm side of the websites, what's happening is 10% of people are putting out I'm going to show you that one in 2 seconds, Simon. What's happening is 10% of people might see it when you first post it. So our advice is set your own schedule, and it will be different for everyone. Now, what you need to look at is when you publish that blog, 10% of people see it. You want to republish it. Now, you don't want to republish it as a new piece of content. You want to reshare the original piece because you want all the likes, you want all the comments, you want all the social proof and engagement on the same piece of content. I see this applies on all the different platforms. If you've got a well-performing piece of content, reshare it, because a lot of people don't understand that you can actually do that. Like, I actually bookmark stuff from my LinkedIn so that I can reshare it. If it's had high engagement already, anything that's already got engagement tends to get more engagement. It's the nature of how we work as humans. We don't want to be the first person at the party. We don't want to be the first person to comment, unless you're competing in things like Gary V's 90-second club. It's really important that you do reuse the content, reshare it, and repurpose it. So if I go back into the graphics I was talking about here, let's just click in so that you can see them. So like I said, as I've gone through, I've got this quote in as a speech bubble, I've got this quote as a red speech bubble, so it's a bit less obvious it's a speech bubble, but red and white here. And then as I've gone through, I've done the same thing with each quote. So now I've got two different graphics for the same thing. Now I could create a third piece just by taking the piece of text itself and using that and posting it straight out. Now, the most important part of all of this is getting the content out online. There is no point me teaching you how to create all of this content if you then don't know how to manage it, how to get it all out online and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to log into a platform that we use. We've actually, for us to move, because we have to move all our clients with us, it's a really big undertaking for us to decide to move to somewhere. And so when we move to this new platform, you know that we've done the research and you know that we're taking it very seriously when we do the move, because we move our clients and we take everybody across as well. So I'm going to load you into my calendar within the platform, and then I'm going to show you exactly how quick and easy it can be to put out content. So I'm going to jump back a week so that you can see some of the content that I've already put out this week, and you probably will have seen some of this content if you're following me. So let's just quickly jump back over to the screen. So here, this is a tool called Content Cow. Now we've got a special deal running on this platform that we'll put on the page that you came through to register to get to this content, and you'll see all of the links will go there shortly after the broadcast ends. Now on here, this is going to be this is a social scheduling platform, so you can link up your platforms. Got Facebook, got Twitter, got LinkedIn, you can stick Instagram, and you can see this is basically your feed with your days across the top. Now I'm looking at last week, so the content has already gone out. This is I'm an Amazon affiliate, so obviously I'm a big Amazon user. I've got Prime, I've got Audible. I use all of the products that they've got. So I'm only endorsing, very much like I said before, we only endorse things that we actually use. So for me, I'm obviously going to talk about Audible a lot because I listened to a quarter of a book this morning before 11 o'clock, having been for a 5k run, done loads of other bits. So I know it works for me, and I want to encourage people to make the best use of their time. So I'm going to show you how I do that, because the same thing will apply to you and your content. You will put in your own images, your own graphics, your own tools in here. Simon, yeah, it is a bit like Buffer, but there's some functionality to this that is some of the stuff that we were finding that we were missing. We actually moved away from Buffer to use this tool, which has been quite a big move for us. So one of the big things that I love about this platform is this section at the top called, so we're in Publish at the moment. On the top left, you've got Content Hub. So if I go in here, the images that you've just seen are these ones, these 4 top ones here, and then I've got a few more created down here from all the Amazon deals that they've had running. In fact, if anyone isn't on Audible, if they sign up, but I think it's by the 7th, I think they extended the date. By the 7th, they're actually giving extra books away up until the 7th. We need to get you signed up. But it's so easy. Once you create this, you're not creating it at a specific time. What you're doing is creating a piece of content you will use later. So, for example, Music Unlimited here, or actually, I suppose it makes most sense to do the Audible as we're talking about it. I'll hit the Use Content here, and then what it does is it opens it. If you're used to Buffer, it's very similar look here. This is where you type your content. you'd add your image here, but I've already pre-created it. And then I pick my platforms up here, so Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So I would just do that, select my platforms, pick a date. So let's go for a date in the future, let's say tomorrow. And then here, I've got my own time set. You can select the time manually, or you can pick a random time just by clicking this and it'll keep changing. But I'm going to pick a specific time, so we're going to go for 2 minutes past 11, and I'm going to approve it. Now, the approval bit is because it's designed for teams and agencies. So you can see from this, I'm posting to 3 platforms. This text, this image, this category bit is just for me to track my analytics. Then the date and time, and I'm approving it automatically because I'm the person who is authorized to be publishing it. If you want to see the previews, you would just click this little eye here. It will pop up and it will show you this is what it looks like on Facebook, this is what it looks like on Twitter, and this is what it looks like on LinkedIn. Slightly different, but it's always good to see with things like LinkedIn and the See More, what does it actually look like on the platform before you publish it. So if we do that and I say, okay, we're going to do that, I'm going to add the post for tomorrow and jump back over to publish, you'll see when I get to the date, so 6th, 7th, you'll see it's there, there and there. Now I wouldn't recommend that you put content out at exactly the same time across all platforms, because if someone follows you on all platforms, that will be annoying. However, if you do that and then you do this, so drag that one to there, drag that one to there, then now the same pieces of content going out across different platforms and going out on different days, and they're all the same time but on different days on different platforms, so the chances of anyone seeing all 3 of them is really unlikely. Now if you wanted to really change it, you would literally just click that and change the time on it. So I could just change that one to 8 o'clock and save it, and then I could go back down to this one here and change this one and maybe make this one an evening one in case there's any an afternoon one there, and hit save. So now I've done 3 bits of content. So you can see how quick and easy it is to put loads of pieces of content in. Now think about if this was a graphic to do with your blog, and I've just showed you on my pop-up here, this is literally 215 pieces of content. So it's like 100 quotes from, I've gone through I think I went through 2 or 3 blogs maybe, and took about 100 quotes out, and that duplicated because I've got 2 designs for them. So if I now was to put those in, if you were posting 2 or 3 times a day on each platform, if I've got a couple hundred pieces of content and I'm doing it 2 posts a day on the platforms, I've still got 100 days of content. So it's absolutely crazy. If you want to go high level, you'd go 10 pieces a day so that you're super visible, and you'd obviously make them relevant and you'd repeat less. Now if you're doing like I do an 8-minute video every day, that's 800 words out of a 300 word piece of content. We reckon that you probably get 5, maybe 10 quotes from it, depending on what the content type is. Let me just jump back on here. So depending on what the content type is that you're creating, in a 300 word blog, you'll get 5 to 10 quotes, or tweetables we call them, and then from that you can double them up because you'll do a couple of graphics. You might even do 3 graphics, and then those graphics then get scheduled out. So your blog goes out, you then schedule some quotes out, but then you reschedule your blog. So when you put it out the first time, it goes out live, and then you take that link and you say maybe post it in 3 days time, and then maybe in a week's time, and then maybe in 2 weeks time, and then maybe in 3 months time, as long as it's evergreen content. Now you see how quick it can be to fill up your feed. It's super, super fast. I'm going to quickly just check if that campaign that I was going to show you has just shown up on my account. So let's have a quick look. Okay, so that hasn't come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a different piece of content here. Let's load this up. Let's go next. I'm just going to quickly load up this screen to show you how I did those so quickly. I'm going to scroll right to the bottom so I can show you. All right, let's go jump over here. So this is a tool that we purchased a while back. I forgot about, and then I thought, hold on, I don't like everything about the tool, but there's always more than one way to use something. Now, this tool creates me some quotes and some graphics and things like that, but I'm just going to focus on this bottom one here for a minute. Now, what happens here is this has been taken out of a blog that's up on our website. It's fed in by an RSS feed, and it pops up and pre-populates this content. Now, I can literally, in this piece of content here, forgetting everything else about how you use this is how quick and easy it can be to create a lot of pieces of content. So if I was to take this quote here, I would just literally go screenshot like that, and then I would go change the theme. There you go, it's now black and white. I'm literally doing screenshotting. Now, depending if you're on a Mac or if you're on a Windows machine, Mac is Command-Shift-4, and it literally allows you to drag it and select like I'm doing. On Windows, there'll be a tool for that, or a clipper that you can probably use from the browser if not. And then there's usually 2 or 3 different theme types depending on how your campaign is set up. Now, if there's something slightly wrong with it, or you want to add a bit to it, you can literally click manual edit, click in and type. Now it's obviously taking the text from over here. Cancel that. The other thing I can do is this image quote section here. If I click this, it will literally just take another quote. So you can see while we're talking, I could be on a phone call, I could do that, and I can go change the image theme to that, change the image theme to that. Piece of content, give me another quote. So there we go, got another quote, going to grab a screenshot of that. So you can see while I've been talking to you, I've literally been creating screenshots of these bits of content ready to post to social. Now, there's multiple different ways. This is just one way you could create a massive amount of content. If I go to the desktop, there's 6 pieces of content that I've just created while we were talking about how to do it. So you might have seen Gary Vee using screenshots of his tweets, things like that. You got to just be intelligent about how you're creating the content, so you're not specifically just creating the individual piece of content, thinking if I write that piece of content, can it be a screenshot that I then use as an image as well as a written piece? Can it be repurposed into another piece of content? We're using images and bits of video into stories, so if I was to take a piece of this, I'll maybe grab a 10-second clip of me saying, you don't have to just create content once, you can repurpose it. And in fact, I do recommend that you go and repurpose and you post it across multiple platforms at multiple times. Now I could take that one piece of video from a recording here and then cut it, maybe use it as an Instagram video. I could put it into the stories on Instagram, onto Snapchat, onto Facebook. So instantly I've created a lot of visibility. Now people say, oh, but all the content's the same. Not everyone will see every piece of content you post, so don't worry about that. Once you get, if you've got a small engaged audience, chances are they're following you on every platform and you don't want to bombard them with the same thing. I gave you the example when we were looking at Content Cow a minute ago about spreading those 3 Audible posts out. So if I just jump back over to show you, where I've put them, one on a Tuesday, one on a Friday and one on a Sunday. Now, the chances of someone being online at the right times for all those bits of content on each of the days and specifically on the platforms is not very high. And obviously, as your audience gets bigger, obviously there's more people consuming the content anyway, so you need to be there and you need to be showing up. One of the hardest things for most people is showing up, and that's where Content Cow comes into its own. Is obviously you can check your analytics and things like that, but this product is £9 a month to use, and like, it's, in my mind, it is unrivaled. Like I said, we used to use Buffer, and then we came away. Some of the tools in this and the customer service has been absolutely outstanding, and we've actually got a recommended page for anyone who's creating video or trying to level up their content. We've actually got a recommended page, but specifically to this broadcast, because I talk about a few extra tools, I'm going to put it on that page that you came through. So let me just quickly jump you back to how and why we do this. If you go to the Facebook Messenger and download this, please go and download this. It's a free resource. Louisa created it. I'm not visually creating pretty things like this, so thank you, Louisa, for creating the flowchart. But this flowchart's available to you as a resource. Go download it, print it, put it up and work with it. Like, if you did one video a week and you took the video and turned it into a transcription and wrote a blog, you've now done a video and a blog. Subtitled, so the video is going to perform to people who've got the sound off. Think about people who are at work watching under the desk, just climbed into bed, partner's already asleep, just watching a video but don't turn the sound on, watching TV, or the kids are watching TV, watching a video but not listening. Put subtitles on your videos. Really, really important. Once you've created the blogs, turn the blogs into quotes. Now, manual process, copy and paste into something like Relay That. So if you didn't have missing letter, you could literally take those quotes, paste them in here, a quote from the blog. So literally you would, so all you would do is go and paste it into something like Relay That. If you're already using it, it will then allow you to just, if you've got your templates set up, you'll be able to go in and see. If I could jump back out of this to mine, if I scroll down here, you'll see these square images. I've got set designs that I use. So I've got blocks of color with text, I've got blocks of color with lines and text, I've got pictures with lines and text, and then I've got, so you see I've got a multiple set of designs, and all I have to do is pick which one it best suits and design it. Now, people say I haven't got all these images to use. That's only because you haven't been taking them. If you haven't been taking photos up until this point, how can you expect to have a whole library of images to use? If I showed you, let's open, actually let's just open this one so I can get to the images. If I show you my uploads in here, in my design, on the left hand side here, all these pictures of me in my work jacket and things like that, we went out for an hour, 2 hours, and we came back with about 200 photos of myself and Louisa ready to use, purposefully taken, ready for us to use. Now, you don't have to go big expensive photo shoot, you don't have to do anything like that. You can literally go out with your smartphone and someone else and take some photos, take some selfies, record some content in different locations while you're out. So on that 2-hour walk, you could record some short videos sharing some knowledge so that it's a different background and it gives you a different look and feel. You can also take pictures, so you've got them ready for repurposing into graphics and things like that in here. And again, if you haven't got them to use here, there's other things you can use, like stock images. We use a product called Elements from Envato. It's a yearly sign up. This one is quite expensive, but if you're an agency, it's not. I think it's about £200-300 for the year, and it gives you access to all sorts of photos. And I think it's got like over 2 million photos that are royalty free, ready to be used. It's got multiple other things, but for the purpose of this, the most important part would be the photos. So they've actually just acquired, there you go, 50 million additional photos, and one of their new partnerships has now given over 50 million. You can search by colors, you can search by what's in them, and you've got access to all of this. All of our clients gain access to all of this because we're creating the graphics on the back end for them, so the thumbnails, and if they decide to go for graphics, we do that for them as well. But you can do this all yourself. You don't need someone to do it for you. The purpose of this workshop is that you realize with the right tools in place, you can do this for yourself. So I'm actually going to show you some on-device. I'm actually going to load up my device quickly on the screen. Give me 1 second. I'll just eject my hard drive. Either of them. So I'm going to quickly plug my phone in because I'm going to show you how quick and easy it can be to create on the phone as well, because you're not always going to be at your computer. It's not always going to be convenient. Now, Content Cal as a scheduling platform is actually mobile optimized, so you can use it directly from your mobile as well. In order to image. Let's quickly load this up so I can show you. That's not what I want. File. So you are literally now looking at a version of my let's do that so we got nothing in the background. So what you're seeing now on screen is actually a version of my phone. So you're literally seeing what is on the screen of my phone. Now if you want to look at how you would create a massive load of content really quickly, you don't need to buy lots of expensive apps. All you need to do is you understand the apps that you've already got and how you can use them. So first off, the camera that you've got inside of your phone, you can literally, there we go, let's take a quick picture. So inside of here, you've got, that's not come up with audio, has it? So you'll see here that I just wanted to check you didn't have the audio playing through from the phone. So once I've taken the picture, I've now got a photo here, and inside of your smartphone you've already got loads of editing options. So in here you can go through color, sharpness, you can do all of this. I don't use this in here for my photo editing. What I actually use is a product called Snapseed by Google, Snapseed. Oh, they can't see it. That's not showing up for some reason. Was that just cut off? Oh, there we go. Right, so let's come back out. So let's just jump back to where I was a minute ago. So I've literally just taken a photo of myself where I'm sat, so you should now be able to see that on the screen. Sorry about that, it jumped off for a minute. So that's a photo I've literally just taken. Inside of your phone, there's all these edit options that you can go into that'll allow you to auto adjust it, brightness, highlights. There's loads and loads of editing facility here inside the phone. That's not what I'm going to use. I'm going to show you a product called Snapseed. So we're going to come out of here and go to Snapseed. It's got a little leaf as a design. It's by Google. It's absolutely free to use. So let's select my image. Now, one of the beautiful things about this is you can have your own presets. So this one on the end is, I go to a church called Everyday Champions, and it's literally the settings that work for their building because of the color scheme that they've got in there. So from the original picture, you can see I can literally just go through and select edits, or I can go into tools and I can set up my own edits. So very quickly, because I'm used to editing photos, I would literally just quickly do this, a little bit of ambience on it. Let's turn that down because it doesn't look quite the right color. Take some of the shadows down so that it's a bit darker. Contrasts up. There you go, export, save. So it's absolutely free. It's free to use. You can do loads of different stuff. You can do double exposure on it. You can, in fact, let's show you a couple of bits on here. There's lens blur is quite a good one. So if I didn't want people to be able to see the stuff that was written on the wall behind me, that's quite a common one. We see people putting photos up from their office and there's stuff written on their whiteboards. They should really do something like this, where they select the bit they don't want blurred, and then they put this blur in. So turn the blur up to do that, and you can literally pick the bit that you want people to focus on in the image. Loads and loads of different features and functionality. Go and have a little play with it. It's called Snapseed. I'll just drop that into the comments down here. So it's called Snapseed. I will be dropping these all into the page that you can access this training from, so that you can go and look at them all. You can get the deals on them. Some of them are free, like I said, and some of them we've already negotiated deals, but this is Snapseed. Literally, I've exported it. Now, one of the most underutilized ones, a lot of people go to things like Pic Collage, or they download new apps and things like that. Now, Instagram has actually created an app called Layout, which, funnily enough, is for laying out your photos. So it's really easy to use. even if you haven't got photos, you could literally take them in here and then use them. So it's called layout. You go into it, and I'm going to just pick apparently my food, because that's the top 3 I've got here. So there's me being excited by food, there's my food, and there's the jar in the cupboard. Now at the top you'll see that it's come up with suggested layout. So wide one at the top and 2 squares, 3 wide. You can just see from the images at the top that there's a range of different things. So I'm just going to pick one, obviously this one, because the food is the most important thing. So you guys get to see what we've had for dinner, which was really nice. For those of you who don't shop at Aldi, you probably should. Food is amazing and really cheap. Not an affiliate. But once you've done this, there's loads of bits inside of this. It's absolutely free. You can mirror images. Ever take a picture and it's the wrong way around? Literally flip it. Or if it's upside down because your phone's having a bit of a fit, you can flip it as well. There's loads of different things. If you want borders on your images, you can add that or take them away. And then literally it's a case of doing that and saving it. If you pick the wrong image, you can go in and just replace the images. Select, oh, I picked the wrong food picture, let's use the other one. So there you go, as quick and easy as that to create it. If you want the sizing different, it's literally just dragging and moving it around, really quick and easy. And then obviously one of the other things that's an important tool that a lot of people forget is Instagram itself. So if I go to Instagram feed, so I'm already posting it to my feed, it was originally a photo editing app. So don't forget that it's got color edits and adjustments inside of the platform. So if you aren't used to it, if you've picked a color, so let's go for the really bright one. If you tap it twice, it actually allows you to pick how much of the edit is in there. So that's without any edit, and then that's with a whole load of edit. So you can see how much change it's making just by doing that. Don't forget the tools that you've got to use. You do the same with things like Snapchat, things like that you can go into, and they've all got functionality within the platform that you can use to create content. One big tip for you within Instagram that is going to be good for you, and it comes with a bit of a proviso that you'll have to use one of the other tips that I show you in order to make this work, is to make your time more efficient. Sorry, you can do it without doing what I'm going to suggest, but most people are conscious about how much storage they've got on their phone and things like that, and how much data they're using. Now, you have to bear with me while I find this. So inside your account settings, to remember where they put it, so one thing that's important here is if you go into settings and then account and then go to original photos, make sure your original photos are saved in case you create edits on them and you want to go back to the original and re-edit them. So that's my first tip, is always do that. Mobile data usage, you can turn it down so that it uses less data. So what it basically, it's helping you to manage not using a lot of data. My biggest tip is go and get a really good data plan. Within the I've got to go back and find where the other bit is. There is a setting in here. Where is it? It's to do with the stories. So bear with me. I literally changed this on this phone this week because this is a replacement phone. I'll have a look for it. I might have to do an update for you guys later on this. But basically, there we go. That's where it is. Of course, it's in privacy. So if you go into your settings and go to privacy, and then go into story. Now, you're not actually, I don't really care about the privacy bit, that's for you to decide. But if you scroll down, saving, make sure save to camera roll is on. Because everything that you're putting in your story is something you can repurpose and reuse in another platform later. So why wouldn't you want to have access to it? So if you do that, it basically means when you create a new image, so I'm going to quickly do this. Let's come back out to here. Let's go through my story. It's going to get a bit weird. Like that. So I'm just creating an image there. Teaching. Oh, apparently can't spell today either. Well, here's a tip for you. If you can't spell, you can do this. Teaching. So using my dictation on my phone means it will always spell it right, and then it will also mean that I can write much quicker. So let's do that. Add a hashtag. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually going to publish this to, you can see in the bottom left, my story on Instagram, but also my story on Facebook. You can only do that if you've set up a business account in order to do that. So I'm going to hit publish now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back into my camera roll. And as predicted, there is the image inside my camera roll. So you can see there's the image we just created, and there's the other image. Now, of course, I could take that, I could put it into Snapchat, I could put it into, if I hadn't auto-posted to Facebook, I could have taken it across to Facebook as well in order to go and repurpose and reuse that piece of content. So the tools that you've got in there are really important. Another one that's really important is actually your Google Photos. So if you haven't used it, it's photos.google.com in order to sign up, and then it's completely free to use, and it basically automatically backs up your photos. So when I lost my phone, wasn't concerned. You'll see these top images that we've just created, so the food pictures all have this little graphic on the bottom right hand corner of them. If you can see that, there's a little double arrow which basically says they haven't backed up yet. Once they're backed up, arrows won't be showing, and then obviously it means I can then clear them off my phone. Now if you tap the top left, you'll see this feature called free up space. It basically looks and sees if you've already backed up images, and then when I hit free up space, it'll say, because I've already done it, it won't allow me to do it now, but once it's backed up some more, it will allow me to free up the space on my phone. So don't worry about saving more photos, saving all the videos, downloading every Facebook Live that you do. As long as you have got things like this set up, it will sync it for you. This is why a big data plan is a good idea, or unlimited. If not, you can set it to only sync on Wi-Fi, which means as soon as you get home from a day out, it would then back everything up. Or you could do it when you get to somewhere specific and upload it. Now, again, why would you want to do that? Because you can go into the Google Photos, and you can actually search based on a whole different range of parameters, like where was the photo taken, who's in the photo, colors in the photo. So again, a bit like the stock images, what you're doing is creating your own stock image library as you create content. So if you create content for 30 days and you took 10 pictures a day in your Instagram stories and you back them all up, think about the fact that you then have that many pictures to then reuse later on in a different context, on a different platform, and to drive more engagement and create more content. Again, there's a whole range more tools. I'll drop a lot of these into the page afterwards, but I'm going to just quickly show you. I'm going to search for it because this phone is not quite set up yet. There's another one that I really like called Typorama. Basically it's just designed for taking an image, putting a nice text over it, and then using it. So inside of this, let's just go pick my food. Yeah, I'm selecting this. So literally I've created the text over the food, so I've put the image in, put my text on, and then all these different styles of writing, I could go through and pick the ones that I want. And when you've picked one, you can actually tap it for it to change, because there's usually 2 or 3 different styles of design. So let's add a couple more. So add a few more words so it's got a bit more to play with. And then you'll see as you tap it, it just keeps giving you options. So then you've got a range of different things that you can do. You can move it around like you would anything else. So you can move it, pop it up on the top, move it around, and then once you've done it, again you just export it and then save it and use it wherever you want to use it. You can publish it straight to, if you hit OK share, it gives you the option to go straight to Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever, just the same. So I'm just going to go done with that. I'm going to come out of that. One other one, I don't know if I'm going to have it on here because I don't know if I've got all my apps back on here. So these are 2 apps that you absolutely 100% need if you're going to be making sure that you're on brand with your images that you're using online and your videos online. If you've ever seen a video that I've recorded at a networking meeting that's then got a watermark on it, this is how I've done it. So if I was to go watermark photos, now I haven't got this set up because my phone has only just been replaced, but if I select single image from my library, I'm going to go into a random image, so the one we've just created, and then what I'm going to do is it gives me an option to say, from my library, I'd like to use something as a, there we go, let's use this as a watermark. It's not a very good example because it's a block, should be on a transparency, but you just send it to yourself so that you've got it on the phone. And then once you've done it, so I might decide I want this as my watermark, and I might want it always in the top right hand corner here, and then I save it, tick, and then I can actually save it as a template. So once I've saved it as a template, the next time I come in, I can literally say, right, I want to use this template on this photo. You can also do multiple photos this way. So if you had all the photos from, I know Craig's just been at a training day, if he wanted to put his branding onto all of his photos, he'd literally say, for my landscape photos, use this template, and then he would paste it across. So it'll give you an option there. Again, you can now, in fact, this is a new feature, you can now save straight into your Google Drive. So if you've got that Google account side set up, so I recommend not just Google Photos, but G Suite, because G Suite is it's the whole range. It's photos, it's documents, it's the equivalent of Microsoft Office, so it's documents and equivalent of Excel, and even the presentation I've been showing you is actually from within the G Suite account. So if I go back to the slide share here that I'm sharing with you, looks a bit like PowerPoint, but it's actually a slide share. It's called Slides on Google. This as a product with all of that and your professional emails and unlimited storage online is, I think at the moment it's about £8 a month, and we actually have a 20% discount if anybody hasn't already got it and wants to use it. I'd be more than happy to help you set it up, because it's probably, out of all of the things that I recommend, the best money you can spend, because then you don't think about, oh, I'm going to need another hard drive, or do I back that up, or do I save that? The answer is save everything, and when you save it in Google Photos and Google Drive, you can search it much more easily, and that gives you the option to go in and to review it and see what you've got. Google Photos allows you to look, once you've got tagging and stuff set up, you can tag someone's face in it, and then it will do similar to Facebook with the face tagging. It will show you all pictures of that person, which is really cool for if you're suddenly like, oh, someone just had a birthday and I need an image because I'm going to stick it on a card or something like that. Then you could obviously go and do that. So if I do, let's quickly see if I can bring this back up again. It's just running a little bit slow right now. So it's quite clever in how much detail it picks up. If I show you, this is me searching in my Google Photos for pictures of me. There's my run this morning. Even the ones from Instagram, obviously I'm in them, but they've got filters on. Still picking them up. Me eating a sandwich yesterday, me on a call. But if my face is in it, it's found it. So I've searched for me once I've been tagging. I've only had to tag a few, and then it picks up the data and it starts to deliver that for me, literally searching for me in my own photos. So you can also, inside of here, create albums, share them with other people, which is another good way to do it. So, for example, here, I've got testimonials. So this is a whole folder full of testimonials of things people have said about stuff we've done. In case you're ever feeling down, it's a good way to stay positive. Go and have a look through that, because it's always with you, because it's in the cloud. But also share it. Tell other people. When other people have said good things about you, go and share it. That in itself is content. I could literally take these quotes here. Brilliant day, got lots to think about, looking forward to tomorrow, right? So this gives me a piece of content around when we do the next event, I can say at our last event, attendees said this, because all we've done is screenshot them. If you don't know about screenshotting, super simple. I'm going to show you using the Llama, Fat Llama on my phone. Literally, it's different for all different phones, but power button and home button on the older iPhones, I think below the 10. Once I've created that, this is the point, is it's about the speed at which you can create content. So if I just wanted this llama to use as a demonstration, do that. It's now saved. Hit done. Save to my photos. So if I go back into my photos there's the llama as a picture for me to use. Now obviously it's a screenshot and it's been made big from a small image, so it will be a little bit fuzzy, but you get the idea. Is content that you see, if someone's written a great piece of content, so for example, this image that I used here, someone had posted this as a context of something else, and I was like, this is really important for people in my network to know about. So all I did was I'll do it again here to show you a quick screenshot, which you'll see a flash on the screen, and then literally just cropping it like this. Now there is within when I use Snapseed for my cropping, it does give me the option to make it specifically square. All I do is do that, save to photos, and then when I come back out in my photos, there it is as a square image, and you can see it is, because if I pull the llama one across, you can see that it is specifically square. I'm literally just using screenshotting on my phone right now, so I'm going to drop a list of these in. I'll give you a quick list of them now. So things I use is Snapseed for my photo editing, Google Photos for my backing up. You can use Pic Collage, and we're actually looking at it because there's some features in that we were playing with that we're going to test, and we'll battle test it, and then we'll come back to you and let you know about. Again, use inside the platform. So Instagram has its own editing, Snapchat has its own filters and editing, as does TikTok, so check that out as well. If you haven't used it, EZ Watermark was the watermarking one, and it comes as a bundle and it's available on both. So it's literally EZY Watermark is what you search for, and then it will give you those as a bundle. If you buy one, it will probably offer you to sell you it as a bundle or to upgrade to the other one. So again, pieces of content. For example, when I was listening to Spotify when I went running this morning, hopefully this won't play for you now, because that'll be really annoying. That is really annoying because it's on an advert, so I can't really show you. But if I was to say I wanted to show off that I'm still listening to the Christmas hits, the same thing again, everything is a piece of content. So if I'm specifically listening to that, like this morning I was listening to my Christian playlist and there's a couple of really good songs in it and I wanted to share them, so I can share straight from inside Spotify to my Instagram story, which also is my Facebook story, and I can also share it straight to my Facebook wall, which then has an embedded player. That means people can click and listen to it to see what I'm listening to. They get a sample and then they can carry on listening on Spotify. It's one of the methods they use to get new users onto the platform. So I'm quickly going to jump onto camera and see if anyone has any specific questions on what I've covered so far. I'm going to run you through the whole process really, really quickly in a sec, but I just wanted to see if anyone had any questions just whilst I grab a quick sip of my coffee. Quickly check. I've got my, if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I've got my chat running over there, so just checking the chat on the other window as well. So if you want to create content quickly and at scale, remember that if you see things online that are, you can give context to, you can screenshot it, add your own context. You can screenshot it, put it in your story, change the size, and you can then write that in your stories feature, say of Instagram. So let's use, if I can bring that one back up. Let me go back in here. So let's just use the adder as an example. This is actually one of the things that actually really bugs me about Spotify, is that they try to sell you something based on will make your experience bad so that you buy something that's better. So if I go into create a story, and then in the bottom left hand corner I'm going to use that Spotify thing. I'm going to shrink it in a little bit, like that, and then I'm going to put in hashtag Spotify. Again, voice to text to make it quicker. Breaking the experience to try and upsell the paid product, question mark. I think someone has forgotten about the hashtag customer experience. Hashtag user experience. So you can see, again, like I said, you can use voice as well. So all I would do is put that in like that. Probably get a bit of stick off of Spotify for this later, but post it in. You can add your hashtags and stuff, but all I've done, that picture in the middle is a screenshot of the ads on Spotify that are really annoying, and then just created it as a piece of content. And of course, when I post it, I'll come back out, go into my camera roll, and there's the screenshot, and there's the thing from my stories. So of course, if I wanted it in a different stories, I could post it there as well. Just remember that all the hashtags and things like that that you're using inside of things like Instagram won't specifically work inside the other platforms. They'll be visually there, but they won't necessarily work within platform for discoverability. Hey James, good to see you in. Thanks for joining. Let's go back. I've got a couple of comments here. So any particular tool I use for multiple video platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram? Fantastic question, Mark. Yes, absolutely do. It's a product called Restream.io. It's exactly how I'm broadcasting this right now. So I'm a Mac user, so let me just load up my... If I load up my screen again, so I'll show you. This is going to be really weird because you're going to... This will probably do something really weird when I do this. So... that's not full screen. So let me just load. Oh, that should be full screen. Oh yeah, there we go. And I've got to click. Let me see whether you can see what I'm actually doing here. Okay, so it's got a thing that doesn't allow me to show you what I can actually see as my top screen. So basically I'm using a product called eCam. If I pop this up, you should probably be able to see this. Has that popped up now? So there's a product called eCam Live. It's this little photo with the live icon on. The idea of it is it's a Mac specific, it's a fast video platform. So what I actually do the broadcast through is called eCam Live. That specifically works for me. And then I broadcast from eCam Live into Restream. So it's Restream.io. Is the platform. There's no special link, no special deal on that, so I will just quickly drop that one in here. I'll drop it into the section as well. I'll drop it into the page so that you can go back, and if you haven't got any of these links saved or anything, there'll be a whole page that you can go to. I've also got a recommended kit list as well, but basically I use eCam into Restream, and then you can see here on the screen they're all grayed out because I'm only doing it on the YouTube at the moment, but I could have it to, that's my Facebook page, that's the It's Nomad 9 page, I'm Tristan John Griffiths profile, could have it on Periscope across 2 accounts, got LinkedIn. If you've got LinkedIn Live, then obviously I've got a Facebook free group. If you're not already in that, we go live in there as well. I could simultaneously broadcast to all of these platforms. The problem with that is that you have to monitor the comments if you're having a conversation with the people there. So you can broadcast out to all of these. No worries, Craig. I'll make sure that you get connected with the replay bit as well once we've got it. So quickly going back up, Mark, particular tool, done that one. James, don't worry, the whole thing has been recorded. We've had a few tech issues as we've gone through, but glad you could make it in. I'm glad you got here. One of the things I was actually going to show you, which if you're doing a lot of talking to people, I know someone said that they do a show, so let's do this. If I bring this in, you can do stuff like this on the screen. So if you've got people who ask you questions and you're delivering value to people through your broadcast, you can actually bring their comments on screen. Super powerful. That's inside Ecamm, which is Mac specific software. There are a range of other things that you can use, but you can do that. It's always good as well, you know, if people say things that's useful to other users, you could bring it up on there. And living and breathing exactly what I'm talking about. This is going to seem a little bit weird for you, but what I've just done is, whilst I'm live, I've created a piece of content. I'm showing you the screenshot thing. Use the tools that are available to you. Craig said something nice. This is me broadcasting. I can literally take it, like pose, take a picture, and then now that's a piece of content. So if I change back now over to screen here, and then I show you, if I go back to my desktop, you'll see that I've now got a piece of content that I could go and post out online. That's the feedback that I've got from this event. So by doing this stream, I've created more content. So content feeds content. As people comment, you can take their comment, use it as a post, and create a whole post around it. If someone asks a really good question around a piece of content that you've posted, why wouldn't you then take that piece of content, contextualize it by screenshot it and put it out? I've done it with me in it because it's a teaching I'm doing online. But if this was a comment underneath, I could have done this. This is quite clever because it's in Ecamm. I get this bit that says it's come through from YouTube. If I could also have taken it as a piece from here. So let me show you how I would do this as well to have this, because I said about having more than one piece of content, right? So if I change it now and change it over here, there's the version that you guys will have seen on the YouTube comments. There's the version that I created, which obviously is slightly more visually appealing to use as a piece of content. So you can see the content isn't any different, but it's about how you're going to use it, how you're going to you're replicating it and making it more visually appealing. No problem at all, Nadine. I know that people had to shoot off after a little while, so thank you for hanging out for so long. There will be a few more bits, and like I said, go back and check into the page that had the link to this video, because I'm going to put all the content there. I'm also probably going to try and sort the tech issues out and do a re-record of this as a much slicker version. So if you've got any questions, you want to join again. If you know anyone you think would value this, then please do put them in touch. Tell them to reach out to us. Remember, I'm Tristan G across all the socials. Get them just to reach out. Tag them in the event page or put them in a conversation with me. I'd love to help them as well. Remember that we're trying to help as many people as possible. I'd love to know when you get a minute as well what your biggest takeaway has been. So send it to me. If you're not on and you're watching on a replay, make sure you ping a message to me so that I get that. I want to interact and engage with each of you and make sure that you're all getting the value that you hope to get from it. So quickly going to leave it for if there's any more questions while I have another sip of my coffee. I know that there's a slight lag on it, so I will give you about a minute just whilst I grab a quick drink, and then I will cover a couple more bits for you. Sorry about that slightly weird bit for you. I'm living and breathing exactly what I've been teaching you. So just quickly, whilst I was waiting to see if there's any more questions, you'll see here now, as I click to this bit, that I've actually just created, whenever you do anything, if anyone says anything nice about your broadcasts, about your content, capture it, take a screenshot, whether that's on your phone. That's probably the quickest and easiest place to do it if you get stuck. But I've now created a couple of people posting about the event, so it's specific content that I can then use later on. So there's an option there for me to go and to reuse these as images. In fact, one of those seems to have come up with a weird text box bit, so I'm just going to do that one again to demonstrate. So within Ecamm, it gives you the option to bring the things into the screen. So that's not what I want there. Let's do that. Right, so within that way. Go back to camera, and then we're going to go there. This is always a little bit strange doing it this way around, because my hand is the wrong way around. Wrong way. But what I want you to realise is that we live and breathe everything that we're teaching you, so it's not just out of a textbook. If I say to you, go and screenshot it, go capture it, I'm literally living, breathing proof of the fact that that's what you need to be doing. Just because it works. You don't need to do anything complicated. And you can create multiple different versions of the same thing. So then I've got different pieces that I can put out. In the next time I do this event, I'd be able to take these screenshots, put them in the event, so that they know that the content that they're going to tune into is going to be good. Right, there's a few more bits I was going to show you as well. So which way are we going to go? Okay, let's go. Instagram is the next bit I'm going to show you. So some of the bits that are going to save you loads of time. I talked to you about using voice to text. It's just in dictation. It's part of the phone. It's usually in your accessibility options. I'm actually going to go into Instagram on my phone in just a second. Let's bring that up now. Do that and that. Close that. I think that's there. Okay, so I've just literally taken a picture in here. I've just applied a filter to it. Again, you can just swipe to add some filters here. Now, one of the things that is really important, and this is a bit of a discoverability hack, is if you've got content where you've got something like this where there's quite clearly a white bit on the screen, so you can see that the ring light that I'm using to light my face on camera, obviously I've just taken a picture up of the corner of the screen and the ring light. If you're typing things like this, so let's go hashtag content creation. I can literally take this, and dependent on how close the colors are, you can usually hide things inside the image as well. What it does is it allows you discoverability without people being able to work out how you're getting the extra traction. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually put stuff into the image. I'm struggling to resize that now. Again, because I've got a color filter on, if it was in black and white, you literally won't be able to see it, so you can hide it. You can put a few hashtags into your pictures. Another way to hide those hashtags is like this. If I was to do this, and then I might just put an image like that, I might put it straight over the top. So when you're creating those bits of content, remember that you can layer this. They're all in different layers. If I grab this, it will sit on top. So whichever layer you moved last is what sits on the top when you're doing the images and things. Inside of Instagram, it differs based on different platforms that you're using, but this is a specific way you can do it. Again, if you're doing longer form video, I will always tell you to shoot in landscape because it suits more places. It suits TV, it suits YouTube, it suits like people who watch YouTube are generally will be happy to turn their phone if they're watching long form content. However, obviously IGTV, Snapchat, Facebook stories have all created a space for vertical video, and you can actually inside of here link. So at the top right hand corner you can click and you can link to an IGTV episode. So it will give you an opportunity, if you've created some IGTVs, to create content that then links out so that people can watch it there. If you've created an IGTV episode, you can actually share it into your story or your feed so that people can then watch the first minute or so and then click through to watch the rest on IGTV. So with all the images that you've captured, you've taken photos, you've Instagrammed, those things will become more natural when you're at events. So maybe you're at a conference and you take some photos. Those photos, remember, they don't just stop on your phone, they don't just stop on the social platform if you post them directly out. You can take those if you've got them in Google Photos, if you've got them in Google Drive, you can obviously take them, and like we said before, all the images here were taken intentionally. So we went out and took these, but you'll notice at the top these ones are actually screenshots from video content that we've created before. So if I've created a YouTube video, this, in fact the image that's in the background of the graphic I'm showing you is a screenshot of my 1st of January video, so that it's some sort of context to what the video will look like when you get through to it. It's all about managing what that customer expectation is going to be like as you create content. Remember, it's always about the other person, it's never ever about you. Look like. So quickly jumping back over here to missing, this is called missing letter. What this does is it actually, when you post your content to your website with an RSS feed, it will pop in here. You can see here I've got 12 campaigns. These are pieces of content that have been posted as blog content on the website. I've got them under review here. I will be dropping a link for this one. But basically you can go in, review your campaign, just pick a random one here. Now it's not 100% accurate, which is why you wouldn't just take it and run with it. You need to come in and take a little look with it. Inside here it says, look, 43 pieces of content suggested from this blog. That blog, in fact, that my campaign has just come through, so we can have a look at that one, because I can tell you exactly how long that is. So New Year's resolutions and planning, that is an 8-minute video over there. So if I come into here and I go there's different options on how you strategically put your content out, because it suggests where you should do it. So you might have 2 weeks, so it will stagger them out. As I show you the campaign, you'll see what I mean. It does exactly what I was suggesting you should look at doing for yourself, in posting now, posting in a few days, posting in a few weeks. And you'll see here day 0, so that would go out now straight away. This would be day 3, so it's again another piece. This would go out day 7, day 14, day 90, so sorry, 30, then 90. So you can see it's staggered all the way across like this 180. So you see it's staggering those posts for you. You can pick the platforms and things like that. But again, from this, I've already got, if I wanted to link people to the blog, this image quote here I could use. I could just screenshot this and take it out. And then I could change its design and screenshot it and take it out again to post one on day 3, one on day 7, and then I might use the thumbnail from the blog on day 10 or 14 as it was in here. So I'd do this version of it on day 3, the other version of it on day 7, and then the other one on day 14, and then I can share the actual blog as a link beyond that, maybe in week 3. So you can see how quick and easy it can be to do. I tend to just, when I'm using this tool, use one at the bottom, just get to the one, and then with the edit bits at the bottom of it, just change what's going on here. So you can just change the image style, and then of course you can manually edit what the text says as well. It pulls stuff from it. So I've obviously got, this isn't pulling a lot out because it's not got as many headline titles in it. But if I go down to here and I go change my quotes, so let's see what it's pulling out. How do you know the steps you need to take in order to make sure that you're maintaining whatever your resolution is? So you can see there, I can go, oh, this is pulling the images one. So this is an image based one. Change it into a quote. So there you go, and then I can change my quote theme, so I can jump it around the different styles. And now you can see all I've done is change the quotes here, and then go change the themes as well. And I can take this text and put it in here, so I could literally go manually edit this and take it and put it into there. So you understand, this is not the be all and end all. This is not the only way to do it. What I'm teaching you is showing you how to speed up the process of what you're doing. So if no one's got any questions, I'm actually going to wrap it up there, because I want to make sure that this recording gets done again really tightly and neatly, so that you guys have got it as a resource to go back and refer to. But if you have got questions, I'm going to leave it on for a couple of minutes, just while I tidy a couple of bits up. If you do have questions, please do fire them over in chat and I'll answer them if I can. If not, you can always get me as ImTristanG across all the socials and ask me directly. And thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please do let me know. You've already seen me shamelessly creating graphics that I'm going to use later, but actually it's more important for me to understand what your big takeaways been and what you've learnt from this, so that we can pick out the bits that have been really good, and then we can obviously go and improve on the other bits as well. So yeah, you definitely need to take a look at how you're creating content and see which bits of this apply to you. They won't all apply to you, but have a look at your workflow and see, even if you only implemented one of these things, it might be that you take more photos and back them up into Google Photos, and that would set you up for more success further down the line. So really appreciate all of you jumping in. I know some of you couldn't hang around, and it was scheduled in as 2 hours, so we're only a little bit under that. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes. I'm just going to put myself on mute and give you about 5 minutes or so if you've got any specific questions or any feedback you wanted to give us. That would be much appreciated, and then I'm going to wrap it up, and then we're going to do a re-recording of this, and then I'll send out the re-recording of this to show you exactly all of the bits step by step through, so that you've got a clear understanding, hopefully without any tech issues. Okay, if nobody's got any more questions, I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you so much for bearing with us with the tech issues at the beginning. Really appreciate you guys spending a little bit of time with us. Like I said, we're going to be doing more of these, so if you let us know what topics you'd like us to cover, we'll try and bring them to you as well. We love the way that you guys can engage, can come in and can ask the questions and things, and it's really important to us to get that the feedback from what you liked, what you didn't, what could have been better, obviously other than the tech. I'm just wrapping up, Simon, a little bit early because we want to make sure that we get a re-recording of this done without all the tech issues. But if you had any quick questions before I wrap up, I want the feedback. I want to know if there was a big takeaway for you, and just generally what you thought of the session and how useful it was to you. So yeah, if you've got a minute for that, that would be amazing. And then I'm going to wrap up and try and get a re-recording done and published out so that you guys can actually go back, revisit it, and look at the specifics as I deep dive into each element and show you a little bit more specifically the bits that you might want to know, the nuance of, say, missing letter or Google Photos or maybe Snapseed on the phone. I'm going to show you how to do all of those different bits. And also, if there's anyone else you think would find this useful, please do connect them with us, because I'd love to help even more people. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you had a fantastic time. Thank you so much for spending the time here. I'm going to jump off and could find a better alternative. Yeah, Simon, if you're interested in Content Cow, fire me over a message and I'll send you the link over. I'm going to be updating the web page shortly. I'm probably going to grab some food, and then I'm going to update the website with all of the links to all of the softwares. But if you specifically wanted to go and have a look, there's you get I think you get a 7-day free trial, and it's, if you decide to go down the paid route, it's £9 a month, and then it's £9 a month. You get a 7 or 14 day, I can't remember, free trial, and then if you come through us, you can get it on a monthly thing for £9 a month.